Have you ever felt like you're doing everything right? You're hitting your workouts, you're eating clean, you're doing a million crunches, but that stubborn fat on your belly or your hips or your thighs just refuses to leave. It is one of the most frustrating things ever, and today we're going to dig into the real science of why that happens.
This question right here, this is probably the reason you're even here. It is so frustrating, it's confusing, and honestly, it can make you feel like you're the one failing. But I'm here to tell you, you're not. The problem isn't your effort, it's the information you've been sold.
So let's just rip the Band-Aid off right now. The single biggest lie in the fitness world is the idea of spot reduction. The hard truth? No amount of leg lifts or side bends is going to magically melt fat from one specific part of your body. It's just not how our bodies work. It's a total myth.
Okay, so if we can't pick and choose where we lose fat, then how does it actually happen? Well, it turns out your body has its own master plan, and it doesn't really care about our plans for beach season. Let's break down the rules it actually plays by.
This is probably the best analogy I've ever heard for this. I want you to picture your body's fat stores as one big swimming pool. Now, when you start to drain that pool, you can't just empty out the deep end first, right? No way. The water level goes down slowly, evenly, all across the entire pool at the same time. That is exactly how your body loses fat.
In this process, it actually has a name. It's called systemic fat loss. It means when your body needs energy, it pulls that energy from fat cells all over your body. But here's the kicker, the part you really need to hear. You don't decide where it pulls from first. That decision was made for you years ago by your genetics. And for most of us, those genetic patterns are pretty predictable. For men, the absolute last place to let go of fat is almost always the stomach and the love handles. For women, it's usually the hips, the thighs, and the butt. And for a lot of people, that little bit of puffiness in your face or neck seems to hang on forever. Just think of it like this. The first place you gain fat is almost always the last place you'll lose it.
And look, understanding this genetic blueprint is so important because it explains the number one reason, the single biggest reason people give up. They hit this wall of disappointment, usually right before the real results are about to show up.
Tell me if this sounds familiar. Week 1, you start a new plan, you're super motivated. By week 2, you're noticing some changes, but wait, it's in your face? Or maybe your arms look a little leaner? Then week 3 hits. Your belly fat is still there, and that little voice in your head starts saying, "See, this isn't working." And by week 4, you've quit, convinced you were doing it all wrong.
But here's the big secret, the thing I really want you to get. You weren't failing. The process was working exactly like it's supposed to. Seeing fat loss in your face first isn't a sign that it's not working. It's proof that it is working. The stubborn fat, the stuff you care about the most, is, by its very nature, always the last guest to leave the party.
Okay, so we've busted the myths, we know how the body really works. So what's the actual game plan? What's the formula that gets results? Well, the great news is it's incredibly simple. It's just a two-part solution.
Part 1. This is the absolute, non-negotiable foundation of all fat loss. You have to be in a calorie deficit. That's it. This isn't a theory, it's not a fad, it is pure biology. To get your body to tap into its stored fat, you simply have to burn more energy than you eat. This is what starts draining that swimming pool we talked about. So here's the entire formula. Step 1. Consistently, day in and day out, maintain that calorie deficit. That is your guarantee that fat has to come off eventually. Then step 2, you add in strength training. Now remember, this isn't to burn the fat in that spot. Think of it as an accelerator for how good that area looks once the fat is finally gone.
Let's use abs because it's the perfect example. The myth says you do crunches to burn belly fat. The reality? You do crunches to build strong, defined ab muscles that are hiding underneath the fat. So when your calorie deficit finally does its job and peels that top layer away, you've already built this awesome chiseled core that's waiting to be revealed. So we've got the science, and we've got the simple two-part strategy. But there is one final, secret ingredient that makes this whole thing work. And I promise you, it's not some magic pill or a special workout you can buy.
You hear this saying a lot, and it's so true. The formula is simple, but simple does not mean easy. The real secret ingredient, the thing that nobody can sell you because it's free, is patience. It's just the willingness to stick with the simple plan long enough for your body to finally get around to using that last, most stubborn fat for fuel.
And that's really the bottom line here. The only thing separating the people who succeed from those who fail is time and consistency. So many people quit just inches from the finish line right before their hard work would have finally paid off on those stubborn spots. But you know the science now.
You know that losing fat from your face first isn't failure, it's the first sign of victory. So the only question left is, will you be patient enough to see it through?